This is the show all about you and your space, your home and surroundings. We are Designing Spaces. We tag along with a real home inspector and see the many details that go into this part of a real estate transaction.
Hi, Eric. Great news. I spoke to the seller's agent and they've accepted your offer.
Ann, that's great. Laura's going to be so excited. What's the next step for us to close on the house?
Well, before we can do anything, you want to have the house inspected, including the roof, plumbing, and electrical. You'll get a written report that covers all of the findings, as well as any structural or safety concerns. I have an inspection company that I can recommend for you.
Let's set it up.
To see exactly what goes into a home inspection, Designing Spaces traveled to Memphis, Tennessee to get together with Brad Sterling, an AmeriSpec Franchise Owner and home inspector. Now, tell me, how critical is the home inspection when you're purchasing a home?
Most homes are people's largest investment, and so the inspector comes through to make sure that investment is sound. We check all the components of the house to make sure buyers make an informed decision. We go through all the major systems of the house. AmeriSpec inspectors are highly trained. We perform a 400-point inspection of all the major components: plumbing, heating, electrical, structure, roof, foundation, all the systems to make sure they're in good working order.
When is the best time to have a home inspection?
We would come through usually between a week and 2 weeks prior to closing, just to check all those components of the house so you know that you're making a sound investment.
Now, what if the house is newly constructed? Do you still have to have an inspection then?
We highly recommend it. Just because a home is new doesn't mean all the systems are installed properly or operating properly. We would check all those systems to make sure that they are in good working order and installed properly.
So can you tell me some of the common issues that you run into in home inspections?
Well, a lot of things have to do with the systems of the house. Items such as missing shingles on the roof, disconnected air ducts in the attic, exterior wood rot, missing insulation. There are lots of defects that normally wouldn't be obvious to a homeowner.
And these are things that people would generally not even think about or know how to check, right?
AmeriSpec inspectors are highly trained. We perform a 400-point inspection of the house. Our training exceeds state licensing requirements.
Brad then told me about how an AmeriSpec inspector is trained. They actually attend AmeriSpec Training Academy in Memphis, Tennessee.
Before attending the academy, all franchisees will complete an online study program before arriving to Memphis. The new business owners or their franchisees will also be in direct contact with their business development manager. Once in Memphis, they're here for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks consist of technical and business. During the technical week, our students will find themselves out in the field, inspecting several different homes, different components. We have to be very well versed in all types of construction, all types of different equipment. Our trainers have 60 years of combined experience. All of us have been AmeriSpec business owners at some point, so we can relate very well to the new business owners, the new inspectors coming through.
So Brad, you're a trained inspector, so let's go inspect.
Let's go.
All right.
Now when it comes to the exterior inspection, we're going to look at all the surfaces of the house. Overhead garage doors, we're going to check its operation. There's safety reverse mechanisms that have to be inspected, trip beams as well as sensitivity detection, overhead door frames, brick veneer, windows, whether or not the windows are operating properly, rotten wood on those windows, caulkings, double pane windows, broken thermal seals. Those are all items that we look at. When it comes to the eaves and cornices, whether or not there's moisture damage, proper flashing at the roof transitions, those are all important to maintain the watertight integrity of the exterior siding. The air conditioners are also a part of the exterior inspection. The condensers are the outside component of the air conditioning system. Those systems have to be operating properly. The systems have to be kept clean. Many homeowners think they change their air filter and that's it, but the exterior coil has to be cleaned as well as a part of routine maintenance.
Did not know that.
The roofing is also one of the most important aspects of the house. Its watertight integrity is important to the life of the home. We will mount the roof to determine its age, its condition, obviously if there's any missing or damaged material up there, and to look to see if there's any active roof leaks. All roof transitions and brick siding, you want to make sure there's not any gaps or voids. Those also can be issues with water penetration. Sometimes if flashing and painting is not properly, those all lead to potential moisture damage. Gutters are very important to managing roof water away from the home's foundation. Gutters have to pitch properly, however. If they don't drain towards the downspout, they will overflow and also can be an issue with wood rot.
You know, Brad, if I were the seller of this house, I'd want to make sure that I was totally prepared for the inspection. So what exactly should the seller do to prepare their home for inspection?
Well, the most important thing is to have all the systems readily accessible. As long as the inspector has access to all the systems of the house, the inspection can be performed.
So do you recommend that the buyer be present during the inspection?
While it's not necessary, we highly recommend it. It just gets the buyer a good chance to walk through the house with the inspector, get to see the thoroughness of the inspection performed, and also get to hear verbally exactly what the findings of the report are.
Right. Well, now that we're inside the house, let's do an inspection.
Okay.
All right. I know personally I am exhausted after that, and we only reached the tip of the inspection iceberg.
That's right. Every inspection has over 400 points, and all of our findings will be provided in the AmeriSpec report.
Okay, great. Well, so where can our viewers go to find more information?
AmeriSpec.com.
All right. To see this portion of Designing Spaces again, go to designingspaces.tv and click on the AmeriSpec video. You'll also find a link to the AmeriSpec website. I'm Savannah Bearden in Memphis, Tennessee for Designing Spaces. Bye.
This is the show all about you and your space, your home and surroundings. We are Designing Spaces.
You can visit these websites to learn more about the participants on this edition of Designing Spaces.